you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back here live to the Niko Project, live here every single Sunday from 1 to 2 p.m. I'm your host here, Niko Schultz, 800-meter runner here at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And for all my track and field fans out there, we just finished up our indoor season at the Big Ten Championship, where we unfortunately lost by 4 points to Wisconsin. It was a fight the entire weekend. We covered a lot of points on the field event side, but then when it came to the track, we did not put up as many points. And it actually came down to the 4x4. We needed to win the entire event in order to win the entire meet. So it was a pretty insane event. I was the third leg in that 4x4, and I PR'd with a 46-second split. But unfortunately, Penn State ended up winning, and we placed fourth, and then we lost the meet by 4 points. But we're pretty optimistic and have very high hopes for the outdoor season coming up. And something that I want to start this podcast off with today is about overcoming adversity and letting things go within the past. So for my personal experience and how this season's been for me so far, I started off the season very hot. I ran a 148 on my first 800 of the year, which was the second all-time here at the University of Nebraska. And then I drove down to Arkansas the week after that and ran a 147, which placed me 20th in the nation. And so going into Big Tens, I was 20th in the nation and number 6 in the Big Ten. And in order to make nationals, I needed to run probably 0.3, 0.4 seconds faster. And then all I had to do was run my PR at Big Tens, and then I would have made it to Big Ten or made it to the final and then won it. But unfortunately at Big Tens, it was a very strategic race. I ran the race very different than what I normally run, and I did not make the final. And it was very hard for me to accept that I was running so fast at the beginning, and then when my team needed it the most, and when it really would have been beneficial to run my PR, run even better than I running previously, I did not show up to the competition and did not perform to my best. And so as I've matured as an athlete here at the university, my first year here, I was injured. My second year just wasn't really a good year. And then now I'm at this point, I really am not as upset, or I've learned to let things go. And this isn't just about track and field. I mean, this is about life and your everyday life. And you can relate this to whatever way you want. But for me personally, I had to give a lot of self-reflection and just realize that one bad race doesn't define you, or one event doesn't define who you are. A lot of athletes and a lot of people get caught up in their craft. A lot of people get caught up in their work. And I fell victim to this last year, where all I was thinking about was myself as a track athlete. And I didn't really have no aspirations outside of that. I was just Niko, the track athlete. And I got real caught up in my identity as just a track athlete. And what I've really focused hard on this year is knowing that I provide a lot more value to the world outside of the world of track and field, as a person, as who I can be, whether it comes to this radio show, or whether it helps with promotional work for other companies, or whether it just comes about being a good family member, a good brother, a good son, really whatever the case may be, that one bad performance doesn't define who you are. And so that's something I want to kind of talk about that today. And I'm really looking forward to the outdoor season of track. I'm, in my opinion, the best shape I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm looking forward to helping my team win an outdoor Big Ten championship and potentially make a nationals outdoor. I've never been to nationals. I've never been an All-American. I've never been a Big Ten champion. And so that is my goal for the outdoor season. And so transitioning a little bit today too, I actually realized as an athlete here at the university that I was able to get my real estate license for free. I have to take a 120-hour course and then take a test, and they pay for everything through Open Doors actually. And so that's my next step in my next journey. I love talking about finance, and getting my real estate license is the next step of my list. And so I've been doing a little bit of research about that. And each time you buy a house and each time you put money in, you have to pay an agent 3 to 6%. So let's say I want to buy a house for $100,000. I pay the $100,000. I have to pay an agent $3,000 to $6,000 just for showing me the house and going around. But if I get my own real estate license, I actually represent myself. And so that's an extra $3,000 to $6,000 I'm saving in my own pocket. And you can also start investing into real estate too once you get your own license. And it's really cool because in order to take these classes and to take the test, it's anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. And so I think that's real cool that the university is providing me with something like that. And I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos too. I think it's called like house fixing or house breaking, something like that. Harrison, you can help me out with what it's called, but it's where somebody hops into a house and then they rent out the other rooms and they profit off the people living in there. Have you ever heard of that?
Like just being a landlord or renting out, or what do you mean?
Yeah, it's like housebreaking was the term. And
Housebreaking.
yeah, housebreaking is this guy I was watching this morning. He lives in California, and he said he was like housebreaking, where he basically buys a property and he rents out the other rooms for $1,000 a pop. So like he's in a house. There's one room. He's in a master, and there's 3 other rooms. So there's 4 rooms total. Each person living in there pays him $1,000 each month, and then he's paying off his own personal mortgage, paying off his own personal debt, basically living for free. Once he stacks up enough money, he goes to the next house and then rents out that entire house to new tenants, and then does the same process over and over again until he has enough money and just has a bunch of properties.
Yeah, I don't know what the term is, but yeah, I know some friends that do that, where they bought a house, used their friends who needed a place to live
Right.
for rent. It wasn't like used as a fair trade. You know,
Right.
you get a place for rent, he gets to pay off his mortgage with the rent money. Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed that you get to take those classes for free. That's an
Right?
awesome
Isn't that
perk.
crazy?
Like, I didn't even realize that's just a great perk you can have, because I didn't know about that percentage deal either.
Yeah.
That's about 3 to 6% on average, where you're gonna have to pay that to an agent. So what other classes can you just take through Glassdoors, or is that just one of the ones you found?
Well, that was just through Open Doors, actually. It was just I was talking to a friend, and she was scrolling through Open Doors. She's like, "Hey, you can get your real estate license for free if you're an athlete. It's not even just a Nebraska athlete; it's really any athlete. If you just go to Open Doors and you look at the bottom, they love athletes. And like I said, it could be your career, it could be something you want to invest in, or it can just be if you want to buy a house in the future."
Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out a sport. I don't know if it's too late.
No,
but-
literally. And I know we were talking about too, flash back a little bit to all these NIL deals going around, all these athletes getting paid a lot of money. And I asked you, if you were an athlete in this situation, what would you do with this money? And you told me, you looked me in the eye and you were like, dude, invest in a bunch of real estate here in Lincoln, rent it out, and just basically reinvest your money and then just make a bunch of money. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
a direct investment. It's gonna go right back into your pocket. You have to front the money, of course, but really all you need is around 10 to 20% in order to get, I think it's like a constructional loan, or I forgot the name of it. But yeah, if you have a decent credit score, like anywhere from the seven high sixes to the low sevens, you're gonna get a pretty decent loan.
Oh yeah, big time. Especially around here. I mean, obviously you don't want to be buying homes in Flint, Michigan, but like Lincoln, it's growing, so it's probably just going to continue to go up in value. I mean, you've probably seen it in the places you play rent already. It's not getting any
I
cheaper
know,
because
I
they're paying
know.
off their mortgages. Like you said, it's the kind of proper scheme a lot of people do.
I know people are always trying to time the market when it comes to investing or a lot of different things or interest rates. And the guy I was watching this morning, he bought his first property down in 2017. And mind you, he does live in California, so the cost of living is very high. So at the time, he was like, man, this is a good investment. But he just stuck with it through COVID when all the interest rates dropped. And then next thing you know, the price of houses just blown up within these past few years. And so he locked in at such a good time, because now like all the properties that he bought in 2017 are worth like almost double now. So he's just literally financially free just because he sacrificed 4 to 8 years of his life of living below his means. And now he has all this property. He's literally chilling financially because he has so much income coming in from different places because he invested into real estate.
Yeah, there's always risk, because the only thing you got to be worried about.
Oh yeah, if it burns down, you're done.
Like if home in Texas flooding,
Right.
or what is it? Hawaii had those crazy fires
Yeah.
too. Those are the only things that'll really
Vacation home.
put you
Right.
back. But other than that, I mean, like if you're in a safe spot, like around the Midwest, you're not worried about floods. You're worried about tornadoes and hail.
Exactly. It just depends on the area. But
Mhm.
that's why it's cool to also invest into different parts of the state too. I mean, obviously you have to follow different rules, and you need people, workers in different states if something were to go wrong in one of your properties. But if you got that figured out and you have people that you can trust in your corner, you can be really financially like profitable if you play your cards right.
So what's going to be the Niko? Are you just going to own them and then hire out the flipping, or are you going to go in there kind of blue collar style and get your first one and try to flip that one with your own bare hands? Or what are you
Man,
thinking?
I feel like that'd be so fun. So I don't know if I told you this, but during the summer, I actually work with my dad, and I help him install flooring and backflashes on walls and stuff like that. So I'm used to turning houses kind of from bad to good.
Remodeling.
Yeah, remodeling houses,
Mhm.
right? And so like my mom, she's a very creative person. So we've remodeled our house from the ground up. Like we've built a dog run where we literally punched a hole into our laundry room and then put like a doggy door, and then built a fence with what is it called? Turf. And so our dogs, and we also put almost like a sewer, but not really. We put like a drain so that every time the dog would go pee, it would go in, it would seep in, and then it would fall into the drain and then shoot out past our fence. So he built this thing from the ground up. It took like 3 months.
That's pretty good.
We dug like 6-foot holes into the ground, put pillars up, And so our dogs, literally, when we're gone, they can go to the bathroom as many times as they want.
You got
So,
like a drainage culvert.
Exactly. You have a drainage thing. I mean, when my dad first put it in, actually, because of how clean the turf was, he was putting on there for like a week because of how clean it was. He doesn't do that anymore because it's nasty now. But back to your point, though, what I would want to do, definitely the first house, I feel like your first property you buy is like your baby. You got to take care of it. I would deck that thing out to the max. Probably, just look at it because how pretty it is for like the first 6 months, run it out. And then I feel like I'll start getting into a flow. I feel like people are really scared to take the first shot, and they'll spend all this money researching and attending all these seminars. But in reality, the best experience is experience. I think Loki said that in Avengers Endgame. He's like, I call experience. I think, it was this. It was Thanos said, like, you call failing or being like a failed god experience. And he's like, I call experience. I think experience is experience. I've said the word like 5 times in a row. But yeah, I think start small and then work my way up and see what happens. I think if you surround yourself by the right people, and provide jobs for people too. Like, let's say I find like a maintenance guy or somebody to help me manage the house. I'm providing work for him too. I'm paying him part of what I'm getting from the tenants living there. And if I provide a good place of living for the tenants, they're gonna live happy and then recommend my name to other people. And so like it's just gonna be like a domino effect.
Where did the real estate thing come into your head? Is this like all new? Where you're like just starting to cross your mind, or is this you've been thinking about that for a while?
No, I've been thinking about it for a while, but I never really knew what steps or what proper steps to take. And I've been real busy with track and traveling recently. And so as soon as it kind of calmed down within this next month, because I don't have to compete until late March, I really got into like a finance kick and a content kick. And I watched a lot of videos about financing, investing. I'm taking a business law class right now. And I learned about fiduciary duties, which is basically people who have stakes within a company. And they basically have a lot of say because they have part of the company. Like, let's say somebody owned like 6% of Amazon or 7% of Amazon. Like, they would have a say in how much they want their next dividends to be. They would have a say on what they want to see in the newest invention of Amazon. They have early access to a lot of things. And just like learning different things about how companies and businesses work, it's really turned my head. And I've looked up how like these people became profitable and how like the most successful people in the world are financially stable. And a lot of them invest in the real estate. I don't know if you know Brent Cardone, but I've been watching a lot of his videos and the way he approaches finances. But yeah, I've been on a real finance kick. So now I think I'm finally dipping my toe into the water. I think that's the analogy of getting into real estate.
If you get into it, just save some homes for the rest of people that aren't real estate
right?
agents,
Own like 35, 40
there.
properties. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. I mean, I'm taking an entrepreneurship class right now, and it's really interesting because this girl, I wish I could promote her right now, but I genuinely forgot her name. But she makes like it's not donuts. Maybe she does do donuts, but like it's like crumpets, and she has a very small business, but everyone asked her like, so where do you see your business going in like the next 5 to 10 years? Like, do you want to have more locations? And she used the word content. She's like, I'm honestly super content with where I'm at right now. Like, I have my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself every single day. Yes, it's stressful. Yes, it sucks when things go bad. But being able to walk into your own restaurant, your own place, and have complete control on what goes down, of controlling how you treat your customers, controlling your own prices, controlling how you market things. And she's like, I am perfectly content with where I'm at. And I'm a big person about contentment. And it's very rare to hear an entrepreneur say that, because as an entrepreneur, you see these money hungry people who all they care about is expanding and growing and almost never satisfied. But she was completely satisfied with her business and everything she's created. And I just thought that was super cool. And so it's completely changed my mindset about entrepreneurship, because I thought it was just get all this money and then like somehow be depressed by the end of it. Like, dang, it's just not enough. Or like, I thought money was going to bring me happiness, but it doesn't. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of going off on a rant, but
that's fair. I mean, it is a strange thing. It's one of the things, like, companies are so much based on growth.
Right.
So when you get to like YouTube, Instagram, like you get to your big boys, when you're looking at like, say, shareholders.
Exactly.
If you look at YouTube, technically they're losing more money than they're spending to keep the service
so high up already that how can you even grow?
Shareholders give more and more money. It just keeps growing through shares. It's crazy. That's like where it is cool, like you said, to see someone who's just content. Like, I'm making my money. I don't want to see it grow anymore. Like,
so rare.
It's always just based on growth, more growth, more growth. How can we? I mean, again, that's why you just see these stocks go up like crazy. It's like, how is the stock more when you guys technically you guys are losing money, quote unquote? Well, they're not. Like, they kind of technically are losing money, but so much is constantly being funneled in that you're looking at projections, not the real bottom dollar. And it's where you get to that bloated growth. That's kind of where I think people get depressed.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes from.
You can't move. And going back to this entrepreneur too, she was so humble. I mean, she said that if she were to ever go out of business, it wouldn't be because she was hoarding money or treating her customers bad. It's because she was paying her employees too much money to the point where she couldn't pay them no more. Like she says, I wish I could pay more, but just where we're at financially right now, I just can't. But if I could, I would. And that's the kind of person I want to be. Like, I want to have employees that outgrow me and then end up doing better than me. And it's tough because I hate to see them go, but at the same time, she would rather have that than the opposite of employees just being content, being basic, and not wanting to grow their craft or increase their skill set. So
Yeah, where do you sit on after track? Obviously, you never want that to wrap up. Hopefully, you get to the Olympic goals, whatever your dreams are in that.
right.
But what is the Niko when you thought about making money in the future? What were you always thinking? Obviously, it's kind of real estate right now. But what are some of the things you saw yourself doing, or were you always just so focused on track, football before that even?
Yeah, right. For me personally, I really don't know. I think so my personal YouTube channel right now, I finally just got monetized actually. And I probably making like what, $5 this month, $10 this month.
Hey, it's something.
But right, it's something, right? It's something I've been working on for the last 2 years, ever since I was a freshman in college. And I finally, as a junior now, I become profitable in that. And it's tough to gauge the future and be like, what if I get to 100,000? I'm finally making, $5,000 in a month or $10,000 a month. Maybe it's off that, but I don't see myself sitting at a desk job all day and working from my computer 24/7. I definitely see myself being out and about, and maybe this track thing does take off and I can live off of that and help inspire people and maybe go state to state hosting track camps and promoting it through YouTube and live off of YouTube or live off of people sponsoring me. But if let's say track doesn't work out right, I'm planning on staying 5 years here at the university and getting my master's in MBA. I'm currently in marketing and minoring in entrepreneurship, and I would probably take that, maybe start working right away. It'd have to be something where I work with people. I think that I bring my value to this world is definitely bringing people together and getting people to communicate and open up and helping people reach their goals. And so it had to be something along the lines of that. As of right now, I really couldn't tell you what it is, but as we just talked about before, I love finances. I love fitness, and I love setting goals and attaining them. So whatever market or whatever field helps me do that and puts me in a position to help other people, I think that's 100% where I'll be.
Do you care where it is?
Kind of, yeah. I definitely, I'm 90% sure I do not want to stay in Lincoln. I definitely would love to go back to Illinois, somewhere in Chicago. I think that you will learn a lot in a city like that, and you can build very valuable connections. But I would love to travel state to state and kind of live that fast life. I say that now, obviously, I'm not married, don't have any kids or anything like that, so I can't really predict what's going to happen there. But as of right now, I love to travel the world, maybe go overseas a little bit. They say that your brain literally expands when you put yourself and immerse yourself in different countries and fly out and even learn new languages too. Like I'm learning Spanish right now, and the way I approach and see different Hispanic people, and learning somebody in their own language, because if you speak to a Spanish person and their first language is Spanish, you're only limited to how much English they know. But if you learn Spanish and they're talking to you in Spanish in their first language, they open up and actually show their true selves. And I think that that's so important. So that's something I want to do is help people in their own true self. And maybe it'll be in Spanish. Who knows? But we're going to go ahead and send this one to break here and talk more about that here soon. So peace out.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Reading may be the most valuable skill your child will ever learn. And research proves that when children read outside the classroom, they do much better in school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. It's easy to picture yourself reading with a young child curled up in your lap, but don't forget about your older children. They also need encouragement to read. So set aside some time to read together and help your child achieve and succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back here to 93.7 The Ticket. I'm your host, Niko Schultz, 800-meter athlete here at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And if you're just now tuning in with us, in this last segment, we were talking a little bit about bouncing back from adversity, coming back from a loss of performance, whatever the case may be for your personal situation, about how to overcome that. And we also were talking a little bit about finance. We're talking about real estate, investing, and honestly, touching back on that, investing. Harrison, if you don't mind speaking on this personally, what's your main form of investing, or what's your knowledge so far about investing part of your paycheck?
Usually just percentage wise what I need to spend, but debts first. Like if I have a credit card debt, like I'm not investing that much. Take care of your debts.
Right.
Any young 20-year-old out there, I know it's probably easy to kind of Discover card, $1,500 credit.
Swipe.
Yeah, pay that stuff off. Don't even get cute with investing if you're gonna have debts hanging over your head, because that looks a lot worse than you investing. You invest $500, not take care of that debt. You're just standing still in place. Like you're on a treadmill. You're not actually gaining any sort of momentum, especially if that has interest on that loan. Like just get rid of those. That'll help you out so much in the future. Because I had a couple of credit cards when nothing crazy, but you get older and you're like, oh man, why am I just like letting those drag on?
I know it hurts your credit score.
Oh yeah, just like pay those off and then just pick a couple or one that you really need and just cut up the other ones. Unless you're really on top of it and you're super organized and you can keep all that stuff on track and have like 5 credit cards. I'm not that person, but yeah, just don't be sitting around with stupid credit card debts. Like that's such an easy thing that you look around, there's probably about 90% of the people walking around got like some sort of debt on a credit card because it's so easy to do. So just don't be one of those people, even though it's really easy to be.
It is. I definitely think the easiest way that you could be financially savvy, especially if you're in high school or just a young person in general in your early 20s, is just getting a card and using it to pay for gas and just little expenses here and there, like $50, $100, $150 a month. Bam, pay it off instantly. It's just going to slowly over time just accumulate, grow your credit. Because when you originally get a credit card, your credit score is going to suck. It's going to be like low 600s, mid 600s. But if you pay it off consistently and have it for 2, 3, 4 years down the road, then your credit score is going to slowly shoot up. You'll be able to take it a loan. You get your first car, because they're going to pull your credit for all those different things when you buy a house, when you buy a car. And honestly, that's like the easiest way to start. When I first started, it was so daunting to me because I feel like I was already so far behind. But then once you really do your research onto it, there's so many resources out there, books, YouTube channel videos. Even a tip that I can give you guys too, if you have extra money just laying around that you really don't even use, instead of just keeping it in the bank where it's going to get like 0.01% back, there's an app out there called Webull, and it's a high yield savings account that's going to guarantee you 5% back on all your money. And so let's say you put like, $100 into this Webull account. By this time next year, you'll earn $5 on it. Yeah, $5 out of $100, nothing, right? But if you keep it in there for a long period of time and you keep on adding money, if 100,000's in there, you get 5K back, It's just little things like that, little things about having your assets in different places. They call it asset allocation. And so that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I mean, my interest just compounds.
Exactly. Keep good and bad, right? Good and bad.
Exactly. So if you got debt and there's interest,
it's going to grow.
Yeah, some pretty obvious things, but it is crazy, especially after COVID. There's a lot of people that are probably still got those credit card debts, and that's just something that you got to try to get on top of. Which is easier said than done.
What's something crazy is that a Bitcoin, even in September last year, I think it was like under $19,000, and they call this the happening, and then that it happens every 4 years. But the AI boom and technology just decides to shoot up, and it's happening now with all these different AI companies and stuff like that. I think the other day, crypto or Bitcoin just touched like $64,000. So if you invested, I don't even know, if you put like $200 into crypto back in September or something, you'd have like triple your money right now.
Yeah, but we should also know that's high risk. High risk
very
investing.
Very high
Bitcoin
risk.
is not one to suggest.
It completely died. I think that's like 40,000 at its peak in like 2021. And then it just literally went back down to like 15,000. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And then what happened? The other day, it shoots up to 63,000. Everyone's like, I told you. You didn't tell nobody nothing. You're never going to beat the market or predict it. It's just going to happen.
It's the most volatile market out there.
It is.
I mean, I don't know if it is for sure, but you can just look at this. It's incredibly volatile. Like you don't want to be, if it's money that you may need for lunch or rent or car payments, do not touch Bitcoin.
My gosh.
Did you ever get an NFT now that we're on this technology boom some things to me are stupid?
I've heard the horror stories, dude. I've heard like when Steph Curry invested and lost everything. Odell Beckham. I think he wanted I think he actually wanted his paycheck in Bitcoin, and it ended up dying down in 2022. And he like lost so much money out of his NFL paycheck because he wanted his paycheck in crypto.
Yeah. And the like NFTs thing, I don't really fully understood what the NFT was. Those pictures of like the apes.
Yep.
It was like art
exactly
that you could say you own the special key to it.
Died.
when you could just take a screenshot of it. Like, sure, I don't have the key to it, but I have the same exact looking picture.
I know.
Just not the, I guess, true source of it. Bizarre.
I know.
Bizarre. Do you ever follow anything? Any schemes like that? Money schemes? When I was younger, I definitely. Do you remember those bands that had like a little metal thing in it and it was supposed to give you balance? Like the NBA players even wore them for a little bit.
I feel like I did. I feel like I saw a few Hoopers back in 2016.
Yeah, it was like 402-464-5685. The Hoopers, it was big in sports. It was stupid. Like you could see guys like Kobe wearing it, LeBron James wearing it.
Right.
It was just a plastic band with a little piece of metal. And I think it just turned out to be a magnet. Yeah. It was supposed to do all these things, but even like the greatest athletes in the world got duped on what was just a piece of plastic.
Marketing, man.
Do you ever get duped on anything?
I ever get duped on anything? Oh man, I wish I can drag. I mean, I've definitely hopped on a few stupid trends like the fidget spinners back in the day, but those are.
I wasted a lot of money on Nike Elite stuff. I'll say that much.
Nike Elites, those used to be the things back in the day, but no, I actually duped where I bought something and it turned out to not be something what I wanted it to be.
There's probably not a lot of fraudulent gear and track that you're gonna find.
No, there actually is something where I got duped. And this is actually really good advice for anybody out there. The Apple AirPod Max Pros, they're $500 headphones, and it sounds like heaven because the technology in them is insane, right? And I wanted them so bad, but what I didn't know is that there's lookalikes, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, back in the summer, I bought a pair. This kid was selling them. High school kid was selling them for like $250 to $300, which is $250 less than what you can buy them at Best Buy. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a steal, right? So I meet him at a mall, and he gives me the box. It's wrapped, brand new. And it looks just like the normal box, right? Everything looks great. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. And so I pay him the money up front. I Zelle him the money, right? And I go to my car, go home. I put these headphones on. I thinking they're sounding great, right? And I call my buddy who has like real pairs and he's big into trading and investing and stuff like that. And he's like, yo, Niko, those things are kind of weird. Go ahead and like take them off for me. And we start doing a test. As soon as I clicked them together, he instantly just starts laughing at me. He's like, bro, you just bought a fake pair. I'm like, what do you mean they're a fake pair? He took his real pair and started clicking them. His were metal. I click mine together. They're plastic. Same box, same thing of instructions, even the software. So when you originally hit the turn on button, it instantly like Bluetooth connects to your iPhone and it shows like the thing spinning. It looks super futuristic. You click connect. It has the same like code and the same script that the normal pair would have, but they're fake. They're like runoffs. They're like made for like $50 in China somewhere, right? And so like and it happened to me again too. So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna listen to it again. I went on eBay because I was being cheap. I was being a cheap college kid. I bought another pair for like $350, right? Still don't want to pay full price. They come in. This time it was metal, but then you open up the box and it didn't have the same Apple stamp, right? The same like QR code that all the real pairs have. Bam, bought another fake pair. Had to send it back, get my money back through eBay. So eventually I just said, screw it. I'm gonna go buy the real pair. Bought the real pair. I have them to this day and I absolutely love them, right? So it's just like, that's the one time where if you buy something for a cheaper price, know that you're taking the risk. And if you are going to take that risk, be an absolute expert about the fake pairs out there and what the lookalikes are, or else you're going to get scammed.
Yeah, that's good advice for anything. If it's something that you know you're going to use every single day,
right?
Probably just find a way to get the money.
I know
it's going to be a good investment.
Oh man, I was being so cheap about it, and I really was knocking myself for that during the summer because I thought I was super financially savvy. Oh, I'm going to save myself $250, but in reality,
I do feel bad about the second one because the first I can understand it because the first one you're like, man, I just blew $250.
Oh yeah,
because you probably never got that back, right? There's no way that.
No, that's actually funny because I disputed it through Zelle, got the money back, and then Zelle actually banned me after that. So I got it back at a very terrible price because now I can't use Zelle.
Wait, so they refunded you, but because
refunded me, but
threw up a stink, they banned you from it.
I have no idea why I got banned. Maybe it was because of that, maybe not. But yeah, I got the money back and then I got banned after. So
wonder if that guy reported you. He was upset that you got out there
because I don't know. It might have got taken out of his account, so he might have got after me. But yeah, the kid blocked me, and it was just this huge thing. Which honestly, sometimes it's easier to just pay things off than have to go through the stress because the energy and the stress that I had to go through to get the money back, order a new pair, get scammed again, send it back, get the money back, and then finally buy a real pair of it. It just wasn't worth it. I should have just paid the money up front.
Yeah, I'm very big on just going to the store. I don't like ordering stuff online very much anymore, especially with the way like I don't want to say there's not always the greatest delivery service,
right?
But they're just like winging them at your door.
Yeah,
like I think I've gotten quite a few things showing up to my door broken. Like if it's anything electronic or glass, I hate ordering online. I just don't have a lot of faith that's going to get there in one piece.
It's just scary. Like even with clothes, man, you don't really know how something's going to fit online or if something online looks how it actually is going to look. I remember during the summer, I dropped an absolute bag at Fashion Nova. I'm able to work a lot more hours there in the summer. And so I was saving up a lot of money and I was treating myself a little bit. And I bought this like $500 care package at Fashion Nova. And like, I got probably like 35 different items of clothes and at least 15 of them didn't fit or did not actually look at how it thought it was gonna look, and so I returned them thinking I was gonna get the money back, but in reality, I just got Fashion Nova credit, so I had to put the money back into Fashion Nova, which honestly, as a business, is super smart, making it so that you can't get your actual money back, but we'll let you buy more stuff from our stuff. But no, you're not gonna get that money back. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite things. It's like, we'll give you store credit back.
Oh yeah, store credit. Oh, go for it, man. But you want the real money back? It's gone. We don't have it.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have to spend that back in here if you want to use that money again.
Very smart business. I mean, if you look at how business operates, think about like a cigarette company or like a vape company, bro. They're literally feeding off of your addictions, and that's how they're making it profitable. Like giving you cancer while you're giving them your money, like they're making you dependent on their services. Like if you really think about the grand scheme of things, it's honestly crazy.
Do you ever get worried about like nicotine with young kids? I know we're kind of all over the place, but it's all right.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had Niko in the studio
I know,
here again.
right?
402-464-5685. But do you ever get worried about the nicotine? Because you probably see it. Yeah, don't give names, but like let's just be real here. At UNO, I'm sure there's kids that have vapes around, whether on campus or off campus.
Right.
I'm sure it's just you see it a lot. Like I see it in high schools when I have small town, 1,600 people. You know, like that's ultimate small town, supposed to be innocent. Like, and I see vapes all the time there.
Right.
Probably not great. I do worry about it sometimes, like how addictive it's gonna be.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's definitely an epidemic. I mean, I think how accessible it becomes now. I mean, when I was in middle school, and I didn't see this in elementary school at all, but when I was in middle school and definitely high school, I mean, you're literally seeing kids hit that in the back of the class and just getting blazed during class. And
like in the bathrooms, they're hitting.
Bathrooms,
oh
yeah, all day. But I mean, like I said, it transitioned to even in class, and it's honestly sad because like time really does catch up to you. Like, you know,
yeah.
Like I feel like I was 15, 16 years old yesterday, and now I'm 21. You know, I'm turning 22 this year, and there's still kids from high school that are stuck on it and that are still addicted to it. You know, and it's sad, especially when it's on an early age too. They say that when you get addicted to something at an early age, the grooves in your brain, the wiring is it embeds deep into your brain so that it's a lot harder to quit. Like if you start an addiction younger, it's gonna get harder for you to quit it when you're older. Rather, let's say I started smoking. I've never smoked before, but let's say I started smoking today, and then a year from now I decided to quit. It's gonna be so much easier for me to quit as a 22-year-old than it would be if I were to have started something when I was 14, because it is so deep inside your brain and it's gonna be so hard to get rid of. So it's sad, man. It's sad, but I mean, each generation, each era had their own thing. I mean, if you go back to the 70s, bro, they were hitting cocaine pure like the 80s,
yeah, that's
right?
a good point.
And so like, things like that were so accessible, and even cigarettes too. I mean, I know the advertisements were so different back in the day. You even had doctors smoking and saying that it relieved stress back in the day because they didn't know anything about it, right?
They'd be like, it cures your cold.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
They tell you it slows down cancer.
It literally was like a fashion statement almost. Like you're literally seeing like famous people smoking cigarettes. You're seeing magazines of people smoking, right? And so it didn't find out until like the last 10, 15 years that, oh snap, like smoking could kill you. Like they didn't even have it on the labels back in the day, and I feel like we're not going to figure out vape. We're not going to figure out this technology thing until 50, 60 years down the road. I mean, who knows? Like what if having your phone in your pocket causes cancer? We're not going to figure out these things because they're so new to us.
If that's true, no one will, because that is like the human population demise if that's the case. But with that being said, we will have to go ahead, throw it to our final break here. This is the Niko Project. He's in studio with us back after quite a bit of travel. So again, if you guys want to put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, Allo Channel 961. Don't go anywhere. We got one more segment on the other side.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer. Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
On the Block with Strick and Austin. Now, to tie it back to Nebraska men's basketball, this group has a chance to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
You know, in making a run in the Big Ten tournament, a serious run, and winning the first NCAA tournament game, but they're not going to get there by doing the same things they've always done. It is on this team to step up and change that narrative. It won't change on its own. Teams won't lay over for you, and that's the mindset shift we haven't consistently seen yet.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Serve Nebraska Volunteer Service Commission was created to ensure that community service would always be a priority in our state. I'm Governor Jim Pillen, and this year I'm inviting you to help celebrate Serve Nebraska's 30th year by becoming a volunteer. Our state's best resource is its people. You have the potential to make a significant impact. Thank you.
Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the last segment of the Niko Project here live every single Sunday from 1 to 2 p.m. If you are just now joining us for this last segment, welcome. What you missed was a lot of finance talk about adversity, talk about a lot of different things, actually. One of the most interesting topics we talked about in the last segment was about the grooves in your brain, whether it's you're learning a language or rather it is whenever you are doing a repeated action, for example, dribbling a basketball between your legs, using your left hand in a layup for the first time. Each time you do a different action, it uses different grooves in your brain. And we humans, we are creatures of habit. And so it just becomes a habit, right? And even for the negative as well, if you start smoking at a very young age, it's going to get a lot harder to quit that addiction, quit that habit, because it is so deeply embedded into your brain. Rather, if you started later and did it recently, you're not really, it's going to be a lot easier for you to quit because it's not something that you've been doing for so many years. So, but we are drifting a little bit away from that, and I want to close out this last segment with a little bit of March Madness talk. Where does Nebraska rank? If we stay within Pinnacle Arena, man, will we win it all? Harrison, what's your thoughts about this year's March Madness?
I'm super pumped. I feel like there's no clear answer this year.
It's March Madness, dude. It's never a clear answer.
This year feels even messier because you like UConn, all of a sudden they get destroyed by Creighton, and I don't believe it. Like, you ever seen the trapezoid of excellence is what they call it in terms
Never
of
heard
defensive. Ooh, okay, it's very interesting. For anyone who's listening, if you're a college basketball fan, you've probably seen the graph once before, but it's essentially called the trapezoid of excellence because it looks like a trapezoid on a big graph that has offensive and defensive efficiencies as well as pace, like per 100 possessions, how many times you're shooting it.
Right.
And all the teams on there, you don't want to necessarily be super fast. You don't want to be super slow. Even if you're super fast and you're hitting a ton of shots at a high percentage, you still typically, those teams don't win it. If you're in that middle tier where you can play fast or you can play slow, it kind of shows that you are willing to play at any sort of pace and you're better at dictating the pace than all these other teams. So when you look at that, you look at teams, it's like Creighton, UConn, Houston, but they're all kind of on the fringes. I don't know. I don't know how to feel good about it at all. Nebraska basketball, I feel good about them being in there. Whether 10-9 seed, I think they're fine in there either way.
Right.
Even if they lose the next two, I think they'd have to lose game 1 of the Big Ten tournament for it to be a discussion on them being out.
You got a top 4 when you start making that bracket.
Top 4, Purdue, Houston, UConn. Tennessee lose recently?
I'm not sure.
They're not quite 4 yet, but I'm liking those teams right there. Purdue, I'm just so scared of. Is there a single Big Ten team heading into March Madness you would feel good about?
You know, part of me, I used to, if you asked me early on, I would have said Wisconsin, would have said Purdue. But then after we somehow took down both of them, it's like, all right.
Well, even Illinois is not necessarily playing their best basketball right now.
Know, they beat us. They beat us too, but not by a lot. I mean, obviously we were away.
Then soon after.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I couldn't give you my top 4 right now. I think when's the last deadline to make the bracket?
Well, we still got to get through all conference play. March Madness isn't until about mid-March, so we got a couple weeks yet. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I would love the next segment that we come in here to just completely break that down and talk about our brackets and why. Because I remember when I started making brackets, I picked the most random teams, and I was so bad at making brackets. But now that I'm actually a collegiate athlete, and I'm somewhat knowledgeable about sports and stuff like that, I'm like, all right, I feel like I'll at least get a good shot. But
I've gotten worse. The more knowledgeable I get, the worse I get.
So it's hard. You think it's harder? Like less is more almost.
It's one of those things. 402-464-5685. Were you guys better when you knew less or better when you knew more? It was for me. It was always the case of I knew less, and I'm just like I won. I always used to win when I was maybe watching Nebraska basketball, and that's it. When I was really young, the more I watch these teams, because you get in the head, it's like, okay, this is who these guys are. There's no way you start. It's almost like you're picking games as like an ego. That's like the correct word. I'm not super egomaniac when I'm filling out a bracket, but it is. I mean, it's called March Madness for a reason.
Right.
Like sometimes when you pick the one that seems dumb and shouldn't happen, like
it happens.
Purdue losing to St. Peter's Peacocks. Like if you were a knucklehead that had, or the Golden Retrievers, the one year you picking Virginia, the number 1 seed for the first time ever to lose to a 16. You're picking Duke when they're really good.
Right.
To lose early with Zion. Like there's so many
With
things.
Zion's crazy.
Where you just obvious pick Kentucky when they had Brandon Ingram. They just had the most loaded of loaded rosters. Nope, that's the wrong one. So it's 64 teams. You put them in a bracket, you can know a lot, even if you're Joe Lunardi.
Exactly.
Good luck. I think I did better when I knew less. I'll be honest.
Oh snap! Yeah, I'm excited for this year's March Madness for sure. I think that I think it's gonna be a good one, without a doubt.
You ever win one? A bracket challenge?
No, not at all.
So does your family big on it? Do you guys go home? Because that was always big growing up. Like the whole family, we get our brackets out. They typically had to work game 1. Day 1 and 2 is hard to see all the games, but that was always a really big deal. We got heated at the Arns household.
I definitely think when I have a family, I'm definitely gonna make it a big thing. But when I was younger, no interested at all. I mean, we watched the Super Bowl, we watched football a lot of the times, but never played fantasy football. I didn't start playing fantasy football until I got into college, and I had friends that were super obsessed with it, and they said that with their families they would play it, but it really was never one of those things. I used to always play sports, played basketball, played football, did track, but when it came to watching professionals, I just really never had an interest in it. So I definitely like having an interest in it now because you're able to spark conversations, and I've literally become very close friends with people just because of talking about fantasy football, talking about basketball, talking about March Madness. Different people like different things, and it's just cool being able to connect through something as simple as making a March Madness bracket.
It's the beauty of sports, right?
Exactly. It brings so many people together, and people are always mad about oh, it's not like the old days with Jordan and yada yada yada. But I mean, I think for the era that we're in with how fast everything's moving with technology and streaming and all this now, I think we're in the right place.
Yeah, I always think around this time of year, we got to be sports radio's got to be one of the more favorite dials.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
with all the political stuff, I'm not going to make any political points, but it's nice just to turn on all right, just sports.
It's simple. I know.
Nothing crazy about it.
I know.
If I disagree, it's whatever. It's about a game being played with typical young high school, college, every now and then NBA, but they're getting paid millions of dollars. We're just talking about sports.
I know.
It's not life or death.
Almost like way back in the olden ages where they used to fill coliseums and put on performances and gladiators and different things like that to entertain the townspeople. I mean, it's our version of it now. We don't have coliseums no more. We got NBA arenas.
Pretty much got coliseums.
Right, better coliseums with all these sound effects and these people coming in and all these different merchandise and things you can buy and sports betting. Now I guarantee you, back in the day, they were betting rations or something. That'd be crazy. something like that. I don't know, but
I got a hair last night when I was hunting. It's yours if I'm gonna take the spread on this one. I got.
No, literally.
Man, what's now we got a couple minutes left. What is one sporting event that you absolutely before you die have to go to? Like I have yet to go to a March Madness event. I don't even care if it's like the first 64, the round of. I don't really care what day it is, but I would love to go and just see there an entire day of March Madness, just sitting there and watch game after game.
Snap! I have to go to a Super Bowl. That is my end all be all. Before I have to attend a Super Bowl. I'm actually waiting. I'm really hoping that the Bears, right? Me and you are Bears fans, and I'm really hoping that within the next 10 years, that the Chicago Bears go to the Super Bowl. Rather if they get blown out, I don't care. I just need to be there. Like there's just no way. Like that's my thing. If it's Bears do not win until I die, so be it. But I have to attend a Super Bowl. I think that'd be the coolest thing ever.
What do you think the odds are of that happening? Because me and Jeff had this conversation. He first became a Bears fan. First time the Bears went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
He remembers it. Not for him. He's way older than us.
Oh, snap.
So you got to wait about another 21 years. Bears get to another Super Bowl. 07.
Yeah.
And then, that's kind of what my point is. If it's like every 20 some years.
Yeah.
You have 4 Super Bowls if you're lucky. There's
Right.
still plenty of teams that haven't even really gotten to the Super Bowl. The odds if you've never win, that's why I'm always big on. If you win even just a regional, hang that banner. It's never guaranteed. I'm never gonna crap on a fan for celebrating what isn't the biggest win of all wins. You know?
Right. I would be happy, bro. I mean, like almost like an artist when they drop an album, like the fans got to eat. Us Bear fans have not eaten in so long. Like it's been, we had the 2018 Mitch Trubisky thing, the Mitch Trubisky double doinker field goal thing, right? And then we had the 2000, I want to say like 2013 or 2011 Super Bowl thing where we were supposed to go to the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers, and then their linemen ended up picking us off, right? And then go back to 2007 where we lost in the Super Bowl to the Colts, right? Like there's been so many opportunities. And if you're right about what you're saying about it being every 20 years, fast forward from 2007 to 2037, I'll still be of age. I'll be like 37 because I will collect almost every single player's jersey. I will collect every banner, every poster. Like my garage in the future is going to be absolutely decked out with Bears skin. I think that would be the coolest part because I wouldn't be mad no more. Like even if they lose every other season after that, I can say I was alive for that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just got to be alive for one. And if the real estate thing goes well, you'll definitely have money to attend the Super Bowl.
Right, man. I can have dinner with one of the players, hopefully, right? Invite them over. So, man, Harrison, we actually killed this podcast today. So thank you so much, everybody, for all the listeners out there. And if you want to see more content or conversations like that, go ahead and show love on all of our social medias at 937 The Ticket. And if you want to follow me personally, just look up Niko Schultz on Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter. So it's been an amazing day, man. Enjoy everyone's Sunday out there. Be safe. And as always, go Big Red.